Hello everyone and welcome to today's market analysis video. Today is Thursday, February 5th. So let's take a look at the charts and let's talk about what the market did today. Today the market across the board very positive, very good day. The Dow was up 1.2%, the Nasdaq was up 1.03%, the SPX up 1.03%, the Russell 2000 leading the way of the indices for 1.45%. So that is definitely a bullish signal. You want to see the Russell 2000 leading because these are the riskier assets, and so if people are willing to put money in the riskier, smaller companies, that means that they're willing to put in money anywhere else, even in the Dow, the SPY, in the Nasdaq, pretty much anywhere else. So that definitely takes out some of the volatility we've been seeing recently, meaning that buyers are coming in and they are willing to put their money back into these riskier assets. Now, also one thing to mention is that people are still buying the VIX, and so the VIX is coming down, but percentage wise I think it should have had a little bit more juice. So it seems that people are kind of doing both. They are putting their money in riskier assets, but they're still protecting themselves with the VIX. Another thing that I want to talk about, and again this having to do with seasonality, and so usually at the beginning of the year this is where we see most of the risk being taken on. Now we did have a little bit of a hiccup with what was going on in January. Overall though, even though we are slightly behind as far as these cycles are concerned, still we are now seeing people putting things into these riskier assets, and therefore it seems that at least for now cycles are in order. Another thing that we must talk about is the IBB, and this is the biotech sector. IBB doing exceptionally well on the daily. IBB was up over 2% today, so it is a very, very good move. 2.35% up. And again, this is on the back of a lot of these companies. Celgene, Regeneron, they're making their way back up. They were up 3% today. So again, we are seeing people putting their money into these riskier companies, putting their money into the Russell 2000, into the IBB. But at some point in the near future, this is going to have to reverse, and that might be a time when we see a reversal. But for right now, we are in bullish mode, and actually, as I talked about yesterday about the tech sector actually doing very well, we are seeing that two particular companies, Twitter and LinkedIn, they're having phenomenal days after hours. Let's see, they reported earnings, and it doesn't matter what the earnings said. What matters is how the market reacted. So LinkedIn is currently in after hours, excuse me, LNKD. LinkedIn in after hours is up, get this, almost 8%. So huge move on LinkedIn from closing at this candle right here, closing at 237.97, trading to as high as 260. Very impressive move. The other one is Twitter. Twitter had very good earnings, which I'm very surprised by because I don't really look at Twitter as a company that would make money, but nonetheless they are up 9%. Now I don't know, they might have pulled back a little bit, but at some point they were up 9%. So that is a very impressive move. And again, this is all sort of all about seeing that strength in the tech sector. So we were talking about Apple hitting that all-time high recently. Now granted, Apple needed to pull back a little bit, and it tried to do that today, but based on the momentum in the rest of the market, it just followed and ultimately it closed higher. So yesterday was the all-time high on Apple, and today still an impressive move, although a doji move. So we'll see what Apple does. It might need to pause a little bit and go down, so this might create another leg down because we did hit that all-time high, but nonetheless for now looking very strong. So again, all of this is in play. We are seeing what we need to be seeing if we want to make the bullish case. And again, us coming out of January into February, this is what we need to be seeing. We need to see these biotechs going up and potentially topping out very soon. We've seen some sort of reversals, some rotations recently. Again, a lot of this is intertwined with oil. So we had that major move in oil, which told us that the airline industry needed to go down, and that might have probably been the top in the airline. So I don't anticipate any more upside in the airlines, at least in the next 3 or 4 months. So I don't anticipate airlines going up. I think they did their thing for now, and they're going to have to stay at the lower price for quite a long amount of time. Now, for tomorrow, you will need to pay attention to some things. And again, usually Fridays is a slow day, not much going on. But Friday, for now, at least tomorrow's Friday, is going to be very important, because if Friday can prove itself to you in terms of bullishness, then we are off to the races. We might be putting in, yet again, all-time highs very soon. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the last couple of Fridays, we've had massive, massive sell-offs, especially into the end of the day. Intraday, maybe you would have some quietness, but then once about noon or 1 o'clock hits, we see all this fear coming out into the market and people just selling and selling by the droves. And that's why I'm saying tomorrow, if tomorrow the market can stay quiet, if we don't have a lot of volatility, at least into the end of the day, that's very important. It's that block of the day. If we don't have a lot of volatility into the end of the day, then that proves itself for the bullish case. Now again, we might gap down tomorrow, and the reason for that is because at 8:30 in the morning we get our jobs numbers. And so if you are in the market, if you currently have any positions, be very careful. I advise to wake up early and see what's going on with the jobs numbers, because they tend to move the markets. And recently, jobs numbers have been somewhat positive, and so now the anticipation is to get a good jobs number. And so if by any chance it is a negative number, then the market will have a major move to the downside. So that's one thing to look out for. And as far as earnings, the good thing is that we don't really have any major companies reporting earnings tomorrow, and therefore the only problem that you may have, or the two problems that you may have, are the jobs numbers at 8:30, and then look out for the afternoon to see if people start selling like they have been selling into the recent Fridays. Now let's go ahead and look at the SPY on a technical basis. Let's put in the 10-minute chart. Let's take out the after hours. So what has been going on with the SPY is that it slowly went up today. So it gapped up in the morning, and then it slowly went up into the highs of the day. So definitely a bullish sign right there. And let's compare it to the levels that we had put out. So initially what happened is that, notice here that purple trend line we've been talking about, we closed right at that trend line. How beautiful is technical analysis that you not close, excuse me, that you open right at a trend line. And then once we confirmed above it, it was to the races. So here's one thing to look out for. Remember, we've been talking about this purple trend line being resistance, and we've been talking about it for days and days and days, right? And now finally we gapped up above it as soon as we opened this morning, and now this line is serving, guess what, as resistance. So now we have to look at it on the other side. So now if you are scalping, if you are day trading, and the market or the SPY comes into this purple line, that's going to be a very, very good support area because we made it above it. Okay? Now let's look at some of the levels that we had put out last night for everyone who wanted to scalp. So the initial resistance was 205.38, And what happened is that we later on retraced into that number, but what actually happened first was that we hit the second resistance after we opened up. We went to that 205.56 area. We tagged the 60s right here, and then because again this is resistance, we went down into that first resistance level, which is the 205.38. We based sideways a little bit, ultimately building steam for the market to go further. And the market on several occasions was trying to break into that 206 level. So again, this is showing you how that 206 level is a very, very important resistance level. Ultimately, we made it through that next resistance area, which is the 206.07 area. So again, the next resistance to look out for, these are still good resistances, but I will be coming out with a new post with better levels, with updated levels. But for now, if we are going to look at the daily, so far so good for the bulls. We are breaking above that trend line. However, the market still has to prove itself to us. So again, you can never be completely bullish, especially in this case where we've been having all this volatility back and forth. But ultimately, it looks like the market is trying to break out of this triangular pattern to the upside. So this adds credence to the bullish case. And today was the first day that we broke above it. And boy, we did break above it with a wide range bar. The only problems here, number one, the volume wasn't really there, so it was a light volume day. And the other thing is that we did come into that next level, almost at least, which is that 206 area, a little bit over 206. And again, I will be updating you guys in terms of the next resistance levels. Friday is usually a non-event kind of day. You tend to base sideways, so there is a potential to just stay where we close today or maybe go up a little bit higher. But if we do gap down into the morning, we might see some selling, and then again we have to watch out for the behavior in the market in the afternoon. But so far that's what we have, and I will be updating everyone very shortly with the levels, so watch out for that. I'll visit the website and I will be posting these levels. If you are interested in scalping, remember scalps are very quick trades. They rarely last more than 10 minutes or so. So usually my scalps are 30 seconds to 10 minutes, not more than that. And as always, protect your money, because once you lose it, it's going to be very, very difficult to get it back.